Welcome to Bourbon with Bros. Live bourbon and the stories are meant to be shared. Yeah, it's Bourbon with Bros. Stories get bold. Little truth and a little soul. Back porch laughs and tales untold. Pour one up with Bourbon with Bros.
Welcome back, guys. It's Bourbon with Bros. Chris, Jason, Toby, Jim.
Thought this was like the Mouseketeers intro for a second.
We're back to do another quick review of a couple of bourbons for you tonight. Got a special treat. Jim has finally got that nosing kit in, so we're going to do that tonight as well. We got two things for you tonight. We've got two 2-year-olds. One from it's Tennessee, right? The King Snake, Toby?
Yep, it's actually Indiana.
Indiana.
It's a MGP, I believe, but it's distilled in Indiana and made in Sevierville, Tennessee. So
it's an MGP product, more than likely.
More than likely.
Mm-hmm. And then we got a Still Austin Cask Strength as well. It's a 2-year-old. They're both 2-year-olds. So it's kind of a new one for us to get something that, that young. But we're going to give them a shot tonight. So, Toby, what do you know about the King Snake? You want to do that one first?
Yeah, I mean, I not a lot. I was just down there this past weekend and did a little trip and said I'm going to try and find some distilleries while I'm down there, and came into this place where it was like a moonshine tasting place, and then saw that this was there, and I said, let's try this place out here, and this is what we grabbed. So this is Tennessee Legend Distillery, and like I said, it says born and raised in Sevierville, Tennessee on it. This is 119.4 proof. So this is, like I said, I'd never, other than the moonshine, I'd never heard of their bourbon before, and said, we're going to try it out. It says it's 75% corn, 21% rye, and 4% malted barley. Nice pop.
All right, so Jim, with the tasting notes I just pulled up on the screen there, it says that it's got fruit-forward aroma with strong cherry, caramel, and oak. So with your little tasting kit there, should we pop that to maybe teach me and Toby a little something today?
Yeah, why don't we get a sniff out of it first?
Yeah.
For a 2-year-old whiskey, this is darker than I anticipated. I mean, it's a little lighter than a 6 or a 7-year, but for a 2-year, I expected this thing to look like weak iced tea. And it's got a good amber color to it. It does. And this is a single barrel too, so that's why the proof is a lot higher, I think, than their standard bourbon.
I smell honey on it right off the bat. I don't know if anybody else does.
Yeah, definitely see where you're getting that from. That's what I'm surprised at, though. Typically, when you're nosing a young bourbon, all you get's the ethanol, right?
Yeah.
It just burns your nose right out.
For a cask strength,
This isn't bad at all. But getting a little bit of that honey, like you mentioned, getting some caramel.
I am getting that cherry, I guess, now that I know that I'm looking for it.
That toastiness of the oak, too.
So this nosing kit is actually from Nose Your Bourbon. I bought this a couple months ago to try to do a little bit of training, a little education. So this is the cherry. So remember, exhale a little bit into it. Heat that cherry up in there. Take a little sniff and then nose your bourbon.
Yeah.
It does help you concentrate on some of the smells, especially if you're not good at picking out a lot of the aromas out of bourbon.
I got a little bit of cherry and a lot of Chris's breath.
I mean, I brush my teeth at least once a day. So does it taste like peppermint too then? Or?
Minty fresh, minty fresh.
Let's see here.
Feel like I'm standing on top of a mountain? No, I must be all messed up. It smelled like tobacco to me. And then when I smelled this, it was I got more of the ethanol than I did.
So these cherries are actually like a hard red cherry, and the smell I'm getting out of this is more like a cordial cherry.
Okay.
It's a little sweeter.
Okay, there's this.
Interesting.
And if you want to pass down the caramel,
Is it still in the wrapper?
Promise that I can eat it.
Yeah.
Still, you could probably smell it through the wrapper. You gotta take it out of the wrapper. Or?
no, you can smell it in there.
Oh, just leave it. That's what
And take it out of the wrapper.
well, tell me, Mr.
She
Nose.
said.
Welcome back to Bourbon and Bros. We're here for all your problem-solving needs.
So while Chris works on the caramel, I'm not going to tell you what that is. Don't look at it. Just take a sniff and then sniff your bourbon.
You really get anything even up with it unwrapped. It's like,
Yeah, I do a
Is
little
that
bit.
cinnamon? No.
I think I know what that is. I'll wait till after Chris starts what to say.
it's nutmeg. No?
Sniff your bourbon. See if you can pick that smell out in the bourbon now.
I was getting cloves.
It's actually allspice.
Oh,
I get a lot more of that on the nose than I do the cherries and the...
It's amazing how much different, what different smells you pick out of it when you smell. It's kind of like a reference or a touchstone.
Once you get that.
Especially if you're not used to smelling.
See, this reminds me of like the mix you put in a pumpkin pie.
That's
Right? So,
allspice,
yeah,
but I don't smell it anymore.
So, yeah, when they say those baking spices,
Yeah.
I get a
your
lot more
cinnamon,
of
your
that on the
clove, your
nose than I
allspice, your
do
nutmeg.
some of the sweeter smells.
Anybody taste it yet?
Yeah, I do.
We don't do the thing where all four of us taste at the same time.
I might have snuck in a sip.
I mean, I tasted a bit of the cherry. It's a lot, definitely the oak. Not strong oak though. But yeah, that cherry comes forward on that, that's for sure.
I
And, you know,
do.
at 118 proof, it's probably drinking like a 90 proof to me. It's not very,
Yeah, it definitely doesn't drink as hot as it purports to be, but you can also definitely tell it's a 2-year-old. It doesn't really have any mouthfeel. It's very thin. Yeah, I know. I said mouthfeel. Sorry. You're gonna get that.
Yeah.
It doesn't coat. I mean, even if you look at it on the Glen, it doesn't have really any viscosity, any legs.
Most of the younger bourbons, I get a heavy yeast taste out of it, and I do get that out of this.
I mean, for a 2-year-old, this drinks well. I do like it.
Yeah.
I would sit and sip this, but it just, I would love to have this same proof as a 6-year.
Absolutely.
That would be an absolute banger as a 6-year.
Toby, what'd you get for that bottle?
I think that was 69.
Weird on the 2 years, right?
Yeah.
Generally, I mean, everything I've found over the years is if it's not at least a 6 or 7 year, generally not interested, but for a 2-year, and Jason had said when we talked about the Still Austin the other day that Jim was bringing, said that because of the Texas heat that like it just
It ages it quick.
ages it so much quicker, but I would think that the cold and then the warm and the cold and the warm like would age it, because it's almost like it's moving around and
It doesn't age it as quickly, but you tend to get more complex flavors when you've got those temperature changes, because the wood is taking in the whiskey, expelling it out, it's expanding, it's contracting. A Texas whiskey, Arizona, any hot climate like that, it's just bacon.
boiling it in.
So it's,
Yeah, it doesn't typically get cooler, where it's gonna contract.
Think it loses more that way too because of the heat.
Yeah, it's gonna, yeah.
Yeah, your yields will be lower.
Unless you bottle it 2 years.
So, yes,
Yeah.
yeah, that's exactly.
Yeah, that's why you don't see
Probably
many.
the best-
You don't
best
see many
thing.
20-year-old still Austins.
Yeah.
We got one bottle out of that barrel.
Yep.
So we wanna move over to that one at the same time then, or are we, we gotta
Oh, we
rate
still
this
gotta
one
rate
yet,
this
don't
one.
we? Oh, I'm going too quick. Alright,
As this opens
You
up,
need a bus to catch or
you
something?
get a little bit of that tobacco that you got in there too.
we haven't even, this is our first pour of the night too, which is crazy, 'cause
Yeah.
normally we'll have a couple of warm-ups before we get out there and say anything, but, I'll start the thing. I do like that I could smell the sweetness, the honey. I don't know, it doesn't say that in the aromas there, but, I tasted the cherry, so maybe my tastes are getting a little better, but, I mean, for a 2-year, it's definitely higher than what I thought it would be. So I'm gonna put this at probably like a 3-3 for me.
Yeah, this drink's really, really nice. Definitely not as hot as a 118. It drinks, like you said, like a 90 or 95. Good flavors. Little thin on the palate, and the finish is pretty abbreviated. You know, you get that heat right at the back of the throat, and it just kind of dissipates. Again, I'd love to see this in a 6 or 7-year-old, but I'm going to give this a 2.8, 2.9. It's solid. I wouldn't pass on it if I saw it in a store, but you know, it's not going to be the bottle I reach for a celebratory pour.
Yeah. I said, I mean, I tried to smell that there, and I still didn't pick it out when I put it up to my nose here. But I did have the sweetness. I could tell there was something there. I got more of a, like an oaky, you know, like the tree smell. So I enjoyed this when I tasted it down there. But who knows? I had probably had quite a few pours prior to that, so my palate probably wasn't where it is even right now. So it was. I still, I'm like you, Jay. I would drink this. Obviously, we're going to drink it, but I think I'm probably about a 2.8 myself. Again, because of the same thing. It's still young. It would be nice. Maybe we'll put it in a little barrel and let it sit in there a little longer or something, and finish it and do something different with it. But
I'm right there with you guys, about 2.7, 2.8. It's too yeasty for me. I don't like young bourbons for that reason. It's almost like a cherry bread is what I'm getting.
Yeah.
So not one of my favorites for sure. I'm not sure I would ever pick up the bottle if I saw it.
Tune in next episode for Jim's tribute band, the Yeasty Boys.
Always got those one-liners.
I got 4 hours a day in the car. I got time.
Alright, so Toby spent time in Tennessee. Jim spent last week in North Carolina, and he picked up a Texas bourbon. So,
Go figure.
Yeah, that's a surprise for me too. Normally I stay away from Texas bourbons. I haven't found too many that I was a big fan of. I always stay away from 2-year bourbons. I didn't notice that this was a 2-year until I was getting ready to pour it.
You broke every one of your rules.
I did. So this is still Austin. This is 116 proof. It's a 2-year. It's a 70% corn, 20% rye. Guess we'll go ahead and let's get a pour of it. These should be pretty good comparisons. This is a little lower proof.
116, so yeah, so it's right there. They're comparable.
Even look at the color difference though. Just hold both those up, Jim. Look at the color difference between a 2-year Texas and a 2-year Indiana/Tennessee.
Yeah,
I mean, you can see
That's probably 20%.
what that
darker.
heat does in the rick house.
pulls it out of there.
Must be why all those Real Housewives of Dallas look like leather bags.
Got a Toby pour.
Holy hell!
Gotta catch up, or start.
We're gonna start. This is a little more prominent
That's
than
cinnamon.
yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's a totally different aroma on this one.
Oh yeah. Okay.
It's a little bit more mature and complex, I think.
Yeah, because I was getting hints of cinnamon before I nosed that cinnamon, and it's a dead ringer for cinnamon toast.
Yeah.
That little bit of oakiness, that little bit of yeastiness, and that cinnamon, it's like, holy crap, I'm just got transported back to my childhood.
I smell butterscotch. The cinnamon just brought out butterscotch. I didn't smell the cinnamon,
Yeah.
but as soon as I took it away, I smelled more butterscotch than.
Yeah, I don't think I have butterscotch here.
I think I got butterscotch pudding in the fridge. You want me to go grab some?
Interesting.
Do you have pecan in there?
I don't. I bought the smaller kit this first time, just to pick on
What else?
some of the primary.
Rye and
odors.
wheat, corn, tobacco, leather, mint, chocolate, brown sugar. I mean, yeah, those are the predominant aromas you're gonna get.
Yeah.
Let me see the corn.
So you're not gonna pick out as much corn on this one as a lot of the bourbons we try?
No.
Which I'm surprised by, because usually a younger bourbon, you get a lot more.
You get all corn. I almost get a little bit of peach.
There are a couple different fruits in here that I picked out. I think I got apricot the first time I opened this bottle. So the peach and the apricot are pretty similar.
I get the pecan on the taste. You were talking, you said?
It's crazy though that, ostensibly these are both 2 years, they should be relatively similar. This, and I'm gonna use that word you guys hate again, this has such a different mouthfeel. This one actually is a lot more viscous.
It's got a lot of leg on it.
And it coats the palate when you drink it.
Sticks on the tongue. Got a little heat on the sides of the tongue, not the front of the back, but on the sides.
So I took that first sip and I let it sit there for 10, 12 seconds, and just like it didn't hit. Like as soon as I put it there, you give it that swallow, all that hit right there on the front, and oh man, that's good.
It definitely drinks more enjoyable for me than the Tennessee one, but you can tell it's a 2 year. It's still not quite as full bodied.
I don't get a lot of the yeast out of this one that I got out of the first
no.
one. No.
You get it more on the nose than you do on the palate. This finish, it doesn't, the finish doesn't come all the way down like you'd expect for a higher proof bourbon, but it radiates, it stays.
All right, so what it says on their website or Wikipedia or something here, it says branded cherries, cinnamon toast, grilled peaches. It says viscous, mature, including dark brown sugar and butterscotch pecan. So I got the butterscotch, you got the pecan. You said peaches, pears or something. Jim's, one of you guys said, I think. So,
my cinnamon toast.
hey, getting a little bit better at it. I'll get a little better.
Oh, like Jim said a few times, it's all about training it, right? Just when we go their palate. I mean, I guarantee you, when we go back to one of our first episodes when we talked about the first bourbons we drank when we got into bourbon, were you picking out flavors in the first ones you drank? No. Yeah. I was picking weeds out of my hair the next morning, so I wasn't picking out flavors while I was drinking it.
When we went up to the festival, the
Testicle Festival.
I can't even remember. So you're
trying to block out the testicles. That's why.
it was a funny event, and this is exactly what it is. It's Bull's Balls, by the way. So anyway,
Rocky Mountain oysters.
We get back to the gentleman who invited us up, and his nephew's got a really nice bar. So because of what you guys were saying with the tasting and stuff, what his nephew had asked if I had COVID back in the day, and I said, yeah, I had a pretty severe case of it. And he goes, he went to like a naturalist or something, and they told him to chew on Nicorette gum like 3 times a day for 5 minutes at a time. And he said it would reset his palate.
Interesting.
So that's going to be something I'm going to do here over the next week or two, is I'm going to get some of that and start chewing that to see if I can reset a palate. Maybe that's what's kept me, different from that. Because I lost taste and smell for like 2 years. So to get it, when I got it back, everything was so salty I didn't even want to eat, which is surprising as big as I am. But yeah, so I'm gonna try that. I'm gonna see if that really works.
Yeah.
Next time maybe I'll taste more shit.
What do you think about this one, guys?
Well, this is definitely, for me, it's definitely better. Again, you taste that proof a little bit more on this, and again, that's me. I'm a higher proof guy. I like that. I'm gonna go about a 3-1 on this one. Yeah.
I like the complexity in this, and I'm really surprised since it broke all my rules of which bourbons I buy. I get a ton of cinnamon, cherry, nice oak flavor on this. I'm gonna say it's like a 3-4, 3-5 for me.
I'll go. I'm really surprised, to be honest. I kind of usually share the same credo you do. I have no interest in drinking a Texas bourbon. I mean, you remember the first time I tried that TX that you had at your house, and I wanted to go outside and like find a dog and
I did that on purpose
lick the
so you
dog
guys could
instead.
be as
Holy cow.
disturbed with it as I was.
You know, most of the Garrison brothers I've tried, I'm not a big fan of. There's one or two that I do like, but most of them I don't like. This, I enjoyed. You know, maybe it's the cask strength, maybe it's the accelerated aging, but this was really good. I would definitely give this probably a 3-3. This is a bottle I'm gonna look for and pick up.
All right, well, mine's gonna be a little bit lower on this because I get a little bit of like I always call it like a medicine-y taste. It's like you're drinking a NyQuil to a point. It's not that, I'm not saying it's like that, but I get a little medicine-y taste. I definitely get the flavors off, the smell a lot better, can taste a little bit. And I guess if we're comparing the two, so I gave this one a 3-3, and then the Still Austin, I'm gonna give a 3-1. So I'm going a little bit lower, just same proof, same everything, a little bit sweeter on the Kingston, yeah. King Snake. Just only because I get that, I don't know, I know it's not like a black licorice, but it's got some flavor in there that just offsets me a little bit.
Oh, anise is what they call it?
Yeah, something like that.
Be careful how you pronounce that word.
I mean, you're talking about testicles and anise, so. Don't know where you're going here, Chris.
Bourbon with bros after dark.
Yeah, butt sniffer you.
And what was yours on this?
I think I said 3-1.
We'll check the tape.
Okay, yeah, we'll go back and look at that again. It's higher than the king snake, I know.
Yeah. It's definitely a lot fuller flavor.
Yeah.
Oh, and you've got king snake in your pants over there, and you're talking about me smelling butts.
I need to know if you're watching this, send help.
And I think I went to four different distilleries, 5 different distilleries when I was in Nashville. So there's a few more that we'll have on the show here in the future that we'll talk about and taste.
What was your favorite place down there?
I believe just as the experience, the Nelson Brothers Distillery, beautiful place. I mean, it was you walked in. It's not what I thought it was going to be from the outside, but just the appearance of everything in there, you can tell that they've done a lot of stuff. And I said while we were there, I asked for more information about everything they had. They just didn't have everything, and we'll talk about it more when we do the taste on that. But it was a beautiful place, and I'm looking forward to go back to tour.
Was that the bar you sent us the video of with like the smoked old fashioned?
Yeah, the smoked old fashioned. It's a really neat little machine they got, and they had all kinds of different. I mean, their menu on their cocktails it was humongous. So they had a lot of stuff that they offered down there.
Very
Cool little store, and you sat at the bar and you could see the whole distillery back there. So it's a pretty neat place, and they just what I've read about them. It's a pretty cool story. I think it was like their 4-time great grandfather that started making the whiskey, and he got out of the business, and these guys, the brothers, went and checked it out. They went to their little hometown and found what their great grandpa did, and the city historian said, hey, I have a couple bottles of their whiskey from back then in our collection here, and they went and checked that out, and it kind of poked them to say, this is what we got to do. We got to bring back our grandpa's stuff. And so it's a pretty neat little story. And like I said, we'll hopefully we can all go down to Nashville and take a little tour of the place. It was right next door to the Corsair place that Chris and I went to, and probably about 10, 12 years ago now.
It's been a while, yeah.
And so we'll have one of their bottles here in the future too, and I really like that place as well.
That story sounds a lot like the place that opened in Sandusky there. That little,
Evernorth?
yeah.
Yeah, or Everwild.
Everwild.
Yeah.
But I think they went under.
They were from New York.
Yeah.
And they found their grandfather's recipe and was starting it up. It missed a generation or two, but they went under
This was
already.
called the Nelson Brothers Greenbrier Distillery is what it's called.
How did it feel to go on vacation and not have to beat a cheer competition?
Oh my God. and you know, I mean, a vacation to me is like a week long. This was just really, a 8-hour drive down, spend 2 days touring the city and going out and enjoying the city of Nashville, which I love. And then, an 8-hour drive back, mixed in with a stop at Buc-ee's for the first time.
No.
I think I could do a whole other episode on that, man. That place was awful.
Buc-ee's is wild.
Oh my God.
The one in Huber Heights opened on Monday.
Yeah.
I was in Buc-ee's for 12 seconds. I had to turn around and walk back out. My wife had to finish up.
That's what I try to do. It was crazy. That there had to be 4,000 people in that store. It put me in mind of being at Disney World. The people walking all over the place, running into you. I'm like, I can't be in here. I gotta go.
Instead of the smiling mouse, you got the grinning beaver, and both of those little bastards get your money.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Well, hey, it's just our thoughts on what we liked on these or didn't like. As Dennis Miller used to say, that's just my opinion. It's what it is. We want to thank you for joining us again today. Don't forget to smash that like button. Subscribe to us, YouTube, Facebook, TikToks. Yep, got a drink. Sorry. But remember, it's meant to be shared, not collecting dust on the shelf. Have a great day.
Bourbon brothers on our way up, sharing every sip, sharing every cup, everybody.